Hello. Some of y'all are probably very confused. You're looking at me like, oh my god, I have never seen this person in my life before. And that's because I dyed my hair. In the past 2 weeks, just 2 weeks, I went through a little mental breakdown, you know, as one does. And I dyed my hair platinum blonde, and I got a nose piercing. So clearly, I'm doing so well mentally, you know what I mean? But now we're back into it. I'm feeling better, I'm feeling good. And today, we're gonna go over something really special, y'all, really fun and fresh. We're gonna be talking about an accepted art portfolio to a little gallery at school. I know a lot of people are making art portfolio videos for the colleges and the universities they're accepted to. However, I've never seen a YouTube video on people in those art colleges getting into the galleries at their schools. So I think this is a very important video actually to make, because I know when I was applying to colleges, I thought that the portfolios were the end-all be-all to get in, but portfolios never stop, y'all. Absolutely never stop. And also, I wanted to get some more insight on like art students in general when they're in the school, so you have a better idea of how to use the resources at your colleges and your universities to be able to show your work. Or if you just wanted to see my work in general, this video is for you, because this is the most updated version of my portfolio that is related to, drumroll please, cardboard. Usually when you apply to galleries or gallery spaces, you're creating an art proposal, you're creating an art statement, and you're saying that I will use this space in this way to showcase this work because blank. I know, it's kind of hefty, it's kind of like a little Mad Lib for art. But you actually have to speak very eloquently, use the correct art English vernacular, and you have to sound smart and like you know what you're talking about, even though you don't. So I framed my gallery proposal around works that I would create related to cardboard. Now keep in mind, these works have not been made yet. They haven't been made. So you're also selling to these people an idea of what it could be, which is why it's one, very important that you curate your portfolio in a way that showcases the idea the best, which means for me, putting cardboard pieces that I made previously into the portfolio. 2, if you have painting pieces that are possibly unrelated to what you're proposing, I would explain in the description of each of those pieces why it's relevant to my portfolio, whether it showcases my attentiveness to the work, my ability to be detail-oriented, or my ability to express through different means successfully. And the third and most important thing is to be able to advocate yourself in an artist statement / proposal. You're going to use something called Art English Vernacular, which is just a very fancy ass abbreviation for advocating for your work in the right words, the right terminology, babes, so that people understand that you kind of know what you're talking about, even though it's very elitist, because that immediately like separates people who have had the opportunities to explore this like intellectual endeavor by putting yourself in the art world and understanding the languages they use to talk about art, and people who aren't as privileged. And so that is like the tricky part of it, which is kind of fucked up. Really fucked up, babes. However, with that being said, let's go over my portfolio start to finish with the written statement and everything, babes. So let's get into it. The first thing I'm gonna go over is the statement of intent. So when you look at my portfolio, you'll understand where I'm coming from. Through the deconstruction and manipulation of cardboard, I will create a 3-part installation of garments, paintings, and mural that provide social commentary on the queer and gender non-conforming experience in the context of a heteronormative society. Cardboard is a loaded material with strong ties to protest signs, homelessness, consumerism, and environmentalism. While some of these connotations will be used to elevate the content of the work, I am most interested in the common interaction people have with cardboard in the form of boxes. Oh, my posture's so bad. Boxes are used to order, categorize, and contain objects, and the act of deconstructing these cardboard boxes is meant to parallel the deconstruction of social norms that categorize people based on their identity, background, in the dimensions of sexuality, gender identity, race, ethnicity, socioeconomic status, able-bodiedness, and beyond. The garments will be oversized and include a puffer jacket, pair of jeans, button-up shirt, and shoes hanging from the ceiling. These items reflect my experience growing up with an identity that contradicted my Korean Christian household, as I conformed to more masculine ideals that restricted my self-expression. The scale and rigidness of the material make these clothes uncomfortable and impractical to wear, yet the desire to conform may take priority over these issues. Though these pieces are generated from personal history, I believe the pressures of conformity are felt universally and will resonate with a broad our audience. I also recognize that oversized sculptures of mundane objects often reference the uncanny or relate to pop art, like in the works of Charles Ray and Amanda Ross Ho. Their use of scale is something I'm inspired by, however, I intend to use the garment scale to allude to an overwhelming feeling of being engulfed in such a clothing item. I also want to explain that when you write your statement of intent, it's important to also include artists that may be related to your work in either a more direct or adjacent way. And this is because you want to show that the people reading it that you understand you're in a conversation with other artists in the same field and you're aware of the context in which your art is placed in. You don't want to put like an art piece up and have it accidentally reference something that's completely different than what you're trying to say. My art professor actually told me to do that. So credits to her, love her. For the mural, I will make it out of torn cardboard reassembled via twine. Ultimately, I see the deconstruction of cardboard boxes to be a positive act that serves as a physical manifestation for breaking down labels and social norms that fragment society. The act of stitching these pieces back together then symbolizes the positive potential of freedom and self-expression and unity following the deconstruction of these norms. I picture this piece to be more abstract in form, yet allude to figurative elements in order to emphasize diversity and inclusion, similar to Christina Quarles' abstraction of figures to celebrate individuality in many dimensions of one's identity. Christina Quarles' work is very vibrant, it's very fun, it's very poppy, and cardboard is not that. It's very bland in its color, in my opinion. However, I specifically mentioned that I'm not interested in that part of her work, but I'm more interested in her figurative representation of people and what that means for diversity and inclusion, especially in the position of the figures and how she abstracts them. And that's what I'm more interested in doing when I'm exploring figure through these cardboards, which is why I mentioned that specifically. Yeah. The paintings on cardboard will depict pivotal LGBTQ+ moments in American history, both negative and positive. Events like Stonewall Riot, Pulse nightclub shooting, the French Quarter arson, legalization of gay marriage, and more. There will also be large-scale portraits of iconic LGBTQ+ activists whose efforts changed the social and political landscape for queer and gender non-conforming individuals. I will look at the work of Andrea Bowers, protest art, who had a fantastic show at the Hammer. Very, very brilliant. It was a retrospective. That was from the Hammer music. Anyways, sorry. I looked to the work of Andrea Bowers' protest art, which features paintings on recycled cardboard, allowing the medium to further connect with the work of activism, as cardboard is often used in protest signs. So that was a very long-winded, less than 500-word proposal that I just submitted. And now we're gonna get on to the fun shit, because I know y'all just wanted to see the fun stuff. So, here. We are looking at the portfolio now, babes. The portfolio, yes. The very first one is kind of an iconic video. It's giving One Trick Pony though, because I always reference this piece. And it's called Hiding in My Hanbok. Yup. I just did a little 360 video of me wearing it. It's a wearable sculpture that's 6 by 5 feet, so it's long as fuck, y'all. It's long as fuck. And I made it last fall, so almost a year ago, which is kind of insane that it's still here in my apartment. But this is very clearly part of the portfolio piece, which is why it's number 1. It was so important that I included the process video in the next slide, because in my artist statement, I talked a lot about the process of deconstructing the cardboard and what that meant to me. So because it was process-based in my explanation, I wanted to make sure I included the process to kind of honor it in a way. And I gave them a little ASMR. I gave the girlies what they wanted, some ASMR. Let's take a listen. Yeah. The next piece is untitled. For many people, this is a very graphic image, and I understand that. However, when I am talking about elements related to sexuality and gender expression, I wanted to put this in here. It's a deconstruction and reassemblage of cardboard pieces via string. I sewed this back together, period. It was 4 freaking feet tall, y'all, 4 freaking feet wide, and I made 3 different figures, and this is what I said in the description box. For this piece, I broke down cardboard boxes and reassembled them with thread. Then I painted figures with stereotypical symbols of men and women, being the penis and breasts. I painted the figures with stereotypical symbols of men and women, being like the different parts of genitalia, and combined them on each figure using secondary colors to further push the notion of in-between spaces that these figures occupy and exist in. And I also critiqued myself. I say, in retrospect, these figures needed to be more diverse in form and had different genitalia symbols, as it only represented one type of body that falls outside the gender binary. And for the proposed exhibition, I looked to the work of Christina Quarles to depict more abstract and genderless figures that assert themes of identity and inclusion beyond the scope of this piece. And I also found that the border that these figures were in also restricted their form and expression, so I also proposed that I would cut out each figure and put them onto the wall for an installation piece, if that was a possibility. The next one is called Deconstruction Exploration Number 3. This piece is my third attempt at exploring how the deconstruction of materials, cardboard, clay, and raw canvas, hold the potential to express diversity by breaking them down and recontextualizing them. I'm using the same goddamn language in each of these explanations, so if I sound like a broken record, babes, I'm so sorry. I don't know what got into me. I was late at night just writing, just typing on my keyboard X, Y, and Z, and this is what popped out, and so I'm sorry if it's repetitive. For the figure, I referenced work from Ren Hong to further investigate how the depiction and contortion of human body expresses themes of gender and sexuality. Ren Hong, if you're interested in these types of themes being explored, you absolutely need to know this photographer. It is a must. It's a must. I don't know what else to say. Like, you have Ren Hong. The next piece is called Take a Flower, and the medium I used was cardboard, Sharpie, and flour. For this piece, it was like literally sticking off the wall, so like the head was on the wall, the arms were on the wall, and they were extending outwards, like giving you a flower. And I actually wrote a little story background for this character. I said he had flowers to share with the world, a gift of generosity and kindness. But when people passed by, they only saw his face embodied, deformed and irregular. They whispered cruel words, casting him out to be a monster, yet still, the man was patient and continued to wait for someone to receive his gift. He waited and waited and waited, and no one came. This is a time-sensitive piece because the flowers that I picked for this figure to hold out and give other people were alive, and they were from a bush outside my classroom, and so I put those on there, and then I wanted to take photos of the flowers slowly decaying in their hand, but I didn't do that. I just didn't want to do that, and so I just wrote a story narrative so people understand that if the sculpture was to be up, the audience would also see the flowers decay because they haven't taken them. So I tried to do something a little clever, a little out of the box, a little different. Did it work? Probably not. I actually don't love this piece, but I put it in there because it's cardboard related. Next is a piece titled Home. I made this literally over a year ago, but I said it was more recent just because I had to give the girlies some more recent works, and so I just like literally switched the 2021 like spring to just 2021. I said this sculpture is part of my investigation. Also, it used the word investigation. The girlies eat it up, y'all. I swear, people love hearing the word investigation because it sounds like exploration and you like doing a diver deep into like a field of knowledge. It's one of those buzzwords you have to use in your descriptions. I don't know. I said this sculpture is part of my investigation into subjective realities. For this piece, I deconstructed again. Take a shot every time I say deconstructed, but make sure it's non-alcoholic. Okay, maybe take a shot of water. For this piece, I deconstructed an observational watercolor painting by cutting out all the furniture and rooms that I painted. By fragmenting these spaces and separating them from their original environments and rearranging them in a disorderly fashion, I'm able to communicate the brokenness of a home, and it continued my exploration in deconstructing and recontextualizing for this piece. Again, a broken record. If I was to go back, I would fix all this language literally because I don't love it. I'm not obsessed. This is a stop motion piece called A Moment in Time. Yeah, it's kind of dramatic. It's me. It doesn't look like me at all. I don't know. I think I improved a lot, honestly, in my self-portraiture. Like, this was really kind of something for me. I was really proud of it. It was literally stop motion. It took me so long to do, even though it's literally like maybe 20 frames. Yes, but I made it in 2020, again, over a year ago, but I did not let them know that, okay? We can't let them know these things. And I just said how the stop motion reflects how society pressures individuals to decide their career paths, passion, and identity. Again, a through line in this portfolio identity, all before adulthood. Growing up, I felt the need to adopt various labels and conform to such pressures, so I created a piece using colored pencils on cardboard to express that emotion. The next piece is titled My Endemium, and this is a painting. A painting, y'all. I'm not obsessed with this painting anymore. I feel like how I rendered it is very cartoony and illustrative, but this shit is literally 5 by 6 feet. 5 by 6 feet. Foot tall painting. Such a big painting. For what? For what? Anyways, this self-portrait references Francesco Solimena. Here, I made a very clear note. I said, though this piece is not related to cardboard, I'm including this to demonstrate my ability to paint and depict figures, skills which I will employ for the proposed exhibition. Explicitly stating to them, I know babes, this isn't like what I said I'd do, but I'm just putting it in here because I said that I was gonna explore figure, and this is me trying to do figure. Again, don't love, not obsessed with this figure. I feel like my figure work has changed and evolved a lot. Like, this is my most recent large-scale painting. I know the proportions are kind of off, like the head should be a lot larger, but in terms of the rendering of the figure, like, it just leaps and bounds above this. Even though stylistically they're very different, you can just tell, I hope, you can tell that I improved from this large painting to that large painting, which was in exactly a semester apart. I don't know, I feel like that's how it should be, and I really hope that when I am making work for the exhibition, that I'll be able to produce even better paintings, you know? The next piece is titled, If Only You Looked at Me with Virgin Eyes. I don't really want to get into it because it's very personal, but I feel like you can tell what it's about. It's supposed to again be a self-portrait, but this was made literally 2 years ago. Again, I lied. I said it was made in the last year. It was not. Next one, titled Thanks to Me, again made over a year ago. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, why have I not made pieces I'm proud of? Like, why am I using these old ass pieces? This is supposed to be a self-portrait. Yeah, I actually really like this concept. I might want to redo it, honestly, because I loved it. I really do love it. Not sure what else what to say. Sorry, I keep looking at the viewfinder because I think I look cray. I think I look insane. I don't know, do we like this look? Do we not? I can't tell. I also note in every single one of these that, oh, this painting is specifically meant to demonstrate my skills in painting. I know it's not fucking related to cardboard, babes, like give me a break. And so this piece is called Public Performance. My professors actually really liked this piece. It's such a tiny piece. It's literally 11 by 14 inches. Kind of creepy. It was meant to be creepy, but some people will read it as more cute. I'm interested. What do y'all think? Do y'all think this is cute? Do y'all think this is creepy? Let me know. I thought it was also nice attention to detail because upon first glance, you may think, oh my god, like these little baby things are just like dancing and whatnot, but they're actually acting out all of their masks. You know what I mean? So they're putting on these masks and their figure and their body is actually acting out what the animal would do. For example, the bird flying, the bear growling, the sloth relaxing, and the fox is just on all fours. So, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm freaking out. I'm so tired, y'all, but we'll get through this. We're very close to the end. I think. Yes, we're close to that. This one, very simple, very fun, fresh. It's called Subjective Reality. I'm just making this very like surrealist painting through this little guy. This Paul Revere bear, my pride and joy. I'm obsessed with this Paul Revere bear. Obsessed. My great aunt gave it to me. Yeah. Fleeting memory, again, made 2 years ago. I still think it holds up though. Oh my god, and you can see Paul Revere bear. Oh my god, he's still here. This is just a very surrealist piece, and this took a ton of time. It actually inspired by Annabelle, who applied to RISD, an iconic portfolio video, very iconic, where she had this RISD bike, and this huge, and it was so detailed, and she made it in high school, and so I was inspired to do a very busy composition, so I did this, and that was it. Yeah, that's the story behind this. Trigger warning for this next piece, it has content related to essay and R word which I'll actually blur out. But this was a very time-sensitive piece that I created in spring of last semester, so one of my very recent paintings. And this is my explanation. I said, Sigma Nu is an oil painting on canvas that reflects the protests that occurred at Sigma Nu Fraternity House following a DPS notification, basically our campus like police force, that revealed that there were multiple reports of drug and essay that happened on the row, which is like the frat row. And I referenced these images from both Google Maps and what I took while protesting. I took images while protesting and initial rough draft sketches because I thought that documenting this moment and cementing it in such a timeless form like art would be very important for protesting such an event. So yes, I said this serves an example for how I'm able to document and speak on historic events, which I proposed for cardboard paintings in the proposal. And I believe this is relevant to my application. I said paintings for the gallery will include subject matter relating to historical LGBTQ+ related events. So this is like my take on it, I guess. And that was the very last piece, y'all. I know, kind of heavy for a last piece, but I think it just drove home my point of what I wanted to do. So with all being said, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope this is a more education related video and y'all were able to get kind of a better understanding of application of portfolios after college acceptances, because I don't feel like anyone really talks about them that much. It's like this whole hidden thing because people are only interested in getting the foot in the door to art school, but then when you're in the art school, babes, like what do you do? What do you does? Also, I don't know why I'm mentioning this at the very end of the video, but what I proposed is literally not what I'm gonna do. The proposal is just an initial proposal, and because my exhibition is set for next spring, they allow for changes in your proposal just because your ideas can develop over time. Like the ideas I had before the application are not going to be the same ideas I want to express a year later, most likely. So I am changing it up a bit, but did I just whoa? I hated that. Please kill me. But I will mention more of that later on when I start working on those actual pieces, which I'm very excited to show y'all. So with all being said, I hope y'all like the video. If you like the video, like the video. If you have a fun comment, critique, or joke to share, comment down below. And if you like me, my art, or want to follow my journey as an art student in LA, you can subscribe. It's a fun time here, and I think that's the end of the video, y'all. That's the end of the video.